For centuries, this mask has haunted our imagination. The beaked mask of the plague doctor. But what if I told you it wasn't from the Middle Ages at all? The beaked mask appeared almost 300 years after the Black Death. So what did they really wear? In the 14th century, doctors faced the plague barefaced, with nothing but desperation. They even tried bizarre cures. It involved plucking a live chicken and strapping its bare bottom onto a patient's swollen buboes. The belief was that the sickness would be drawn out of the person and into the chicken. They kept doing this, applying a fresh chicken each time, until either the chicken died or, far more often, the patient did. The mask was never medieval. It was a myth, created later and spread until everyone believed it. History isn't always what you think. Do you want to uncover more hidden truths? You know, when you think about history, certain images just instantly pop into your head, right? For ancient Egypt, it's got to be the pyramids. For Rome, the Colosseum. And for the Black Death, well, one single figure emerges from the fog, a tall, silent shape gliding through shadowed streets. A long, dark cloak, but it's the mask that gets you. That strange, bird-like beak and those two blank glass eyes that seem to stare right through you. The plague doctor. That image is just burned into our collective imagination, isn't it? It's the ultimate symbol of medieval fear, of widespread panic and pestilence. You've seen him everywhere, in horror movies, in video games, and definitely at a Halloween party or two. That beak has become this instant, undeniable code for doom. But what if I told you that this entire image, our most powerful symbol for the 14th century Black Death, is basically a historical mistake, a huge one? What if I told you that this iconic figure actually missed the main event by almost 300 years? Well, today we're doing more than just looking at a creepy costume. We're going to be historical detectives. We're going to unmask one of history's most persistent and powerful myths. All right, so here's our game plan for cracking this case. First, we'll lay out the 300-year mistake in plain sight. Then, we'll get into the bizarre science behind that beak. We'll contrast that with the real medicine of the Black Death, uncover the doctor's actual story, and finally trace how this myth became a modern icon. Let's dive in. Okay, Section 1, the 300-year mistake. Let's get right to the heart of it and pull the mask off this famous anachronism. This timeline really lays it all out. The Black Death, the big one, absolutely ravaged Europe between 1347 and 1353. It wiped out up to half the population. And during that entire time, the beaked costume did not exist. Not a single drawing, not a single diary entry, not one document from that period describes anything like it. The doctors who faced that nightmare did so in their normal clothes with absolutely no protection. The suit we all know and recognize doesn't show up for nearly 3 centuries. It was invented around 1619 by a man named Charles Delorme. And he wasn't some medieval quack. He was a highly respected physician to the French royal family. He designed this suit to protect doctors during much later and less severe plague outbreaks in the 17th century in places like Paris and Rome. So the entire setting is wrong. This isn't a figure of the Dark Ages. He's from the era of the scientific Renaissance. So, how does a mix-up this massive even happen? Well, it's all about the sheer power of the image itself. I mean, look at it. It's just too perfect, too spooky. A figure that looks like a bird of prey, a scavenger, promising healing, but really just screaming death. Centuries later, in the 1800s, Romantic and Gothic artists were searching for a dramatic symbol to represent the horrors of the past. They found this costume and essentially said, "That's the one," and just retroactively plugged it into the Black Death. The story, the myth, was just way better than the historical reality. Section 2. The science of the beak. So, why the weird bird mask? What was that all about? To get our heads around it, you and I have to do something tricky. We have to completely forget everything we know about germs and viruses and enter a world governed by a totally different idea. Miasma. For almost 2,000 years, all the way from ancient Greece up until the late 19th century, the leading medical idea was the miasma theory. This theory said that diseases like the plague were spread by bad air, a kind of poisonous fog that rose up from anything rotting or decaying. So in this world, a bad smell didn't just indicate sickness, it was the sickness. This is why you'd see wealthy people carrying around little balls of fragrant herbs. They believed a pleasant scent could literally form a protective shield and save their lives. With that in mind, Charles Delorme's invention suddenly makes a lot of sense. It was, for all intents and purposes, a 17th century hazmat suit designed to fight miasma. The long cloak was coated in wax or animal fat to make it waterproof, or rather airproof, to block the poisonous vapors from touching the skin. The gloves, boots, and hat created a head-to-toe seal. And that wooden cane, that was a brilliant piece of early social distancing. It let the doctor examine patients, lift their clothes or bed sheets, and even push people away, all without ever making physical contact. And that, of course, brings us to that famous beak. It wasn't meant to be symbolic. It wasn't designed just to be terrifying, though it definitely succeeded at that. Its purpose was entirely functional. It was a primitive respirator, a personal air purifier designed to fight miasma at the source, the air the doctor breathed. The hollow beak was stuffed with this incredibly potent potpourri of aromatic herbs and spices. It was called a theriac. And it could have over 55 different ingredients. We're talking camphor, mint, cloves, rose petals, powerful resins, you name it. The doctor would only breathe through the 2 small holes at the end of the beak, inhaling this fragrant air. The logic was actually pretty solid if you accept the premise. If bad air is what kills you, then breathing only powerful, good air must keep you safe. A perfectly logical conclusion, just based on completely wrong science. Section 3. Medicine of the Black Death. So, if that was the high-tech solution of the 17th century, what was it really like for the doctors who faced the original plague 300 years earlier? The truth is, it was terrifyingly primitive and almost completely helpless. Forget miasma for a second. Back in the 14th century, medicine was still based on the even older Greek theory of the 4 humors. The idea was that your body was filled with 4 fluids: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile. If you were healthy, they were perfectly balanced, so every single illness from a common cold to the bubonic plague was diagnosed as an imbalance of these humors. And the difference in approach between the 2 eras is just staggering. To try and rebalance the humors during the Black Death, 14th century doctors just fell back on their usual useless treatments. They performed bloodletting to remove bad blood, which just weakened patients further. They would cut open the painful swellings called buboes. They prescribed bizarre and often poisonous potions made of things like crushed emeralds or even arsenic. Compared to the systematic, even if flawed approach of the 17th century, this was just pure, unadulterated desperation. And nothing, I mean nothing, illustrates this desperation more than a so-called treatment known as the Vicary method. And yes, this was a real thing. It involved plucking a live chicken and strapping its bare bottom onto a patient's swollen buboes. The belief was that the sickness, the pestilence, would be drawn out of the person and into the chicken. They would keep doing this, applying a fresh chicken until either the chicken died or, far more often, the patient did. This was the grim, helpless reality of medicine during the Black Death. But in the middle of all this scientific failure, you find these moments of incredible human courage. Doctors like Guy de Chauliac, who was the personal physician to the Pope in Avignon, bravely stayed behind to treat the sick. And remember, they faced this catastrophe with no protective gear, no masks, no wax cloaks, nothing. They were armed only with their faith and their flawed medical theories. In fact, Chauliac got the plague himself, somehow survived, and went on to write one of the most important first-hand accounts of the entire pandemic. Section 4. The Doctor's Real Story. So, who actually was the man behind the 17th century mask? Well, as it turns out, he wasn't always the heroic figure we might imagine. The doctors who wore these suits often weren't the medical elite. They were frequently municipal doctors hired by a city specifically to treat the poor who couldn't afford a private physician. Many were younger, less experienced doctors, trying to make a name for themselves, or even people who weren't trained doctors at all. A huge part of their job was grim, not just to treat people, but to count the dead for the town's official records. So for the average person, seeing one of these guys arrive in your neighborhood wasn't a sign of hope. It was a confirmation that the plague had arrived. He was a harbinger of death. And the sinister reputation was basically cemented in pop culture by this one famous engraving from 1656. It's called Dr. Beak from Rome by Paulus I, and just look at it. This isn't a portrayal of a hero. This is a satirical, predatory figure. His cane is pointing like a weapon, and he's ignoring a person suffering on the ground. This one powerful, spooky image helped lock in the idea of the plague doctor as an opportunistic, terrifying figure for generations to come. Section 5. An icon's modern legacy. So, this brings us full circle. How on earth did this historically misplaced, often second-rate municipal doctor become one of the biggest giants in global pop culture? The answer is really simple. The image was just too cool to be limited by boring historical facts. It literally broke free from history and jumped right into our imagination. First, it became a stock character in Italian street theater, the Commedia dell'arte, and a famous mask at the Carnival of Venice, completely disconnected from its medical origins. And from there, it just conquered modern media. It's a major figure in video games like Assassin's Creed and Darkest Dungeon. It's a staple of horror films, and it's one of the most popular and recognizable Halloween costumes of all time. So, if we toss out the old, inaccurate definition, what does the plague doctor truly symbolize today? We know for a fact it's not the Black Death. The real story is so much more complex and, frankly, way more interesting. Really, it's a symbol of three big things. First, it's a living monument to the miasma theory. The entire suit is a physical manifestation of a scientific idea that ruled for 2,000 years. Second, it's a symbol of human ingenuity. It's a creative, systematic, if ultimately misguided, attempt to engineer a solution against an enemy you can't even see. And maybe most importantly, the whole historical mix-up makes the Doctor a powerful symbol of how a single, arresting image can completely rewrite history in our collective memory. So the next time you see that haunting mask, I want you to look a little closer. Don't just see a spooky costume or a simple symbol of the plague. See the real story underneath, a monument to flawed science, a testament to human creativity in the face of absolute terror, and a powerful, fascinating reminder of how easily the stories we think we know can be powerful myths in disguise.